I'm Angie Knight, and we are going to do a 20-minute calming yin and restorative practice that would probably be done best before bed or anytime that you need a chill out this summer. So we went hiking today. This will probably be geared towards helping those muscles relax. So let's close our eyes. Just take a breath in and lengthen all the way up through the crown of your head. And then breathe out and let the shoulders relax down towards the ground. Let the belly expand as you breathe in. Feel the chest open, the spine lengthen. Pause. Exhale, let some of the energy of your mind and your nervous system go down towards the ground. Bringing the hands together at the heart, bowing the mind to the body. And may we allow ourselves to receive whatever it is we need most from this time. So releasing the hands, lifting the chin, opening the eyes. Let's start reclined, just to stretch out our backs. So I'm going to move the blanket out of the way and roll down. If you have a bolster, you can also use a blanket, block, or pillow. Put it to the left of you. And then roll down onto your back and hug your knees into your belly and maybe rock a little side to side. And then bring the feet to the ground and lift the hips over to the right, straightening the left leg along the floor. Take the bent right knee over and across to your bolster, pillow, block. And then for less of a twist, you can rest your right hand on your rib cage. For more of a twist and to include the upper body, stretch your right arm back to the right. If you want a little more traction through the back of the shoulder blade, bend the elbow like a cactus. And then just relax into that support of the ground and whatever prop and breathe. Two more breaths here. Exhale, let it all the way out. And then gently rotate back onto your back. Reset the feet and the hips and pause. I like to pause in between poses when I'm trying to chill out. Slow down the transitions. And then flip your bolster, whatever, to the other side. Bend the knees, scoot the hips to the left. Straighten the right leg along the floor. Take the bent left knee over and across. And breathe. Drawing your attention to the exhales will help you start to down-regulate the nervous system and bring your attention to the grounding current of the breath out. So let's take two more breaths here. Also becoming aware of the pauses in between the breaths instead of just moving from one to the next. One more breath. Exhale, let it all the way out. And then rotate back onto your back and reset the feet and the hips. Pause. Hugging the knees into your belly. Give a little squeeze or a squeeze and a rock. And then roll to one side or rock up to seated. And then we'll come to all fours. I like padding for my knees. So you can put a padding under your knees. And we'll stretch back into child's pose for a couple of breaths. And then we'll come up to all fours. And let's just move our spine gently. So we'll arch slightly on the inhale, lifting up the tailbone, crown of the head. And then we'll round the spine and stretch between the shoulder blades. Relax the head and the neck. Two more breaths. Attention on the exhale, noticing the pauses in between your breaths. One more time. And then you can bring your spine to neutral and you can either slide back. Actually, let's curl the toes, slide the hips back over the heels, stretch the feet. And if you want more intensity, if you want more sensation in the bottom of the feet and the toes, you can lift up onto your heels, but that's slightly torturous. One more breath here. And then we'll come to all fours, uncurl the toes, maybe tap them out a little bit. Let's stretch through the back and the back of the legs. So let's curl the toes, lift into a downward facing dog. We'll keep the knees bent and really root into the hands without the elbows locked out and stretch up through the hips. And then we'll bend just the right knee deeply and stretch the left heel towards the earth. And then we'll bend the left knee deeply, stretch the right heel towards the earth. Once again, bending both knees, stretching up through the back, and then stretch the heels towards the ground. You don't have to straighten the legs. So if the back starts to round, keep them bent to whatever degree. Lowering to all fours. If you have blocks, slide them underneath your hands. And then step that right foot up between your hands and your blocks. And then move the left knee back. And then uncurl the toes unless you feel like you need some support in the left hip flexor. We're just going to allow gravity to take us, have us here. And you'll feel a stretch through the left leg, in front of the hip and groin, wherever else you feel it. And so you don't want to have so much sensation that you have to check out to be there, or that your muscles have to constrict in order to keep you safe. You want to find an edge that's probably a little bit uncomfortable. The hip flexors get really tight for most of us. And then you just want to breathe with it. See what happens. And we'll add a twist. We'll slide the left hand block out. We'll bring the right hand to the right thigh or back for your foot. We'll just take 3 breaths here. And then exhale back to center. So we want to come out of that hip. So lift your hips over that left knee. It's intense for me. Walk your right foot forward a little bit. And then you can lift your blocks higher and draw the right sitting bone back towards the left sitting bone, and then fold forward to whatever degree. Stretching through the calf and the hamstring. Find an edge of sensation and then hang out with it and breathe. Sometimes I like to support my head and my neck. Helps me relax more. Two more breaths. And start to come up. And then walk the right foot in a little bit underneath the knee, and then walk the right foot outside of your blocks, outside of your hands. And we'll lower down here, more in the groin and outer hip. The toes can point forward or out. Two more breaths. Exhale it all the way out. Straightening the arms. Bringing the right knee back. Child's pose or downward facing dog. If you have blocks, you can do downward dog on blocks. Get a little more stretch. And we'll come to all fours. We'll step the left foot forward, right knee back, uncurl the toes, or for more support, keep them curled under. And then exhale, breathe here. Just bringing your attention where you feel sensation in your body, and just really giving yourself and your body the gift of your attention. Experiencing sensation directly. Adding the twist, one more breath here. And then we'll slide the right block or hand out. We'll bring the left hand to the left thigh or back for your foot. I like to turn my toes out, but you can keep them forward. Just one more breath here. If you're holding the toes and you hold the pinky toe side, you can bend the elbow and kind of do a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, unwind. Lift the hips over the right knee. Walk the left foot forward, put the blocks a little higher, and then lift the left toes and draw the left sitting bone back towards the right sitting bone, which will even out the hips and the spine. And then to whatever degree, exhale, fold in. Side's a little tighter. Two more breaths. And start to straighten the arms, lift up. Walk the heel in, bend the knee, and walk the left foot outside of the blocks, and then lower down to your forearms or your blocks on your forearms, and breathe. Two more breaths. And come out. Bring the left knee back. And then we'll move the blocks out of the way. See if we have time. Let's do a little supported heart opener just for a minute or two to open up the chest and the upper back. So if you have a bolster or a pillow, or you can do a blanket long ways and then across as a pillow, simply hold the bolster against the back and lie back. And you can straighten the legs or bend the knees out to the side. You can also put blocks under the knees so the belly can really soften. And just breathe. I like to bring the bolster all the way up against my body to support the low back. And take 3 more breaths here. And then we'll bend the knees together. We'll roll to one side. Take a breath. Help yourself up to seated. Actually, we're just going to prepare for our final pose, which is my favorite. Well, I have a lot of favorites, but one of them, legs up the wall. I don't know how that's going to work with that print there. If you have a sandbag, if you don't, they're really heavy. They're like 10 pounds each, but they are so worth it. So you just scoot your booty to the wall. Getting into it's the most awkward. If your hamstrings are tight, your booty's going to be a little bit more away from the wall. Make sure my mic's still on. Otherwise, you can kind of scoot up after you're already there. And then to get the sandbag up there is a fun challenge. If you have a helper, that's the easiest way. And then you close your eyes and you allow that to ground your low back. And by elevating the feet and the legs at the end of the day, you can allow for whatever energy goes down with gravity to come back up towards the heart, and it helps with inflammation if you have any in the lower legs. And then if it is the end of your day and you feel a little bit still buzzing in your head, just take a moment to acknowledge 3 things that you did well today. And then take a moment to acknowledge 3 moments that you are, or experiences that you are grateful for today, or just 3 things or people. So our brain's usually thinking about what's next or what we didn't do well, what we can do better. It's really helpful at the end of the day to help the brain turn down by acknowledging what you've done well and feeling what you're grateful for. And then if you have the time, I would recommend staying with your feet up the wall for at least 10 minutes. But I said this was going to be 20 minutes, and I'm not sure how long it is, but it's probably about there. So if you're coming out with me, you would just bend the knees, and you can let the sandbag fall if you have one, or you can take it off. And then just roll to one side. And if you've been with your legs up the wall for 10 minutes, you want to give your feet a moment for the blood to return. There might be a little bit of tingling sometimes. And then use your top hand to help yourself back up to seated. If you have a moment for seated meditation, just come to seated. Take a breath in, let the chest open. Take a breath out, the shoulders relax. And bringing the hands together at the heart, bowing mind, giving thanks to your body, giving thanks for this day, whatever it is that we have to be grateful for, or whomever in this moment. And maybe most importantly to ourselves for creating space to nourish and tend to perhaps the most important relationship that we will have in this life with ourselves, which enables us to be in communication with life itself. Namaste. Releasing the hands, lifting the chin, opening the eyes. Thank you for joining me. It's been a little while since I had a chance to make a video. I'm going to try to make some shorter ones for those of us that just have little windows of time. So I appreciate you being here virtually, and I hope you sleep well, or if you're in the middle of the day, I hope that helped chill you out a little bit. I'll see you next time.